Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Wilson. Now, of course, I might be a little bit biased, but I think Introduction to Psychology is the ultimate college course. What I mean by that is that everything involving human beings involves psychology. In other words, anything involving a person can be understood from a psychological perspective. I'm not saying that the psychological perspective is always the best way to understand any given human situation, but the ability to understand our world psychologically is sometimes a critically important thing to be able to do. Perhaps you've already heard that the word psychology comes from the Greek word psyche or psyche, which means soul or mind, and you probably already know that ology means the scientific study of something. So, psychology is the scientific study of the mind. In this way, we can see that psychology is not just what to think, but rather more a way of thinking about and viewing the world from a unique perspective. Put another way, psychology is a way of asking and answering questions. For instance, in broad terms, we might be interested in questions such as, what causes mental illness? And how can crime be prevented? More specifically, we might be trying to figure out what type of treatment works best for what type of emotional problems, or trying to understand why eyewitness testimony is so unreliable. As you'll see in the first module for this course, psychology employs the scientific method as a means of framing and gathering data about important questions about the mind. If you're not a psychology major, you might be wondering why your department is requiring you to take this course. Well, that's a good question. For a precise answer, you might need to talk to your own department chair, but I think I can give you a general sense of why so many college departments require their students to take at least some psychology courses. Think about it this way. Can you imagine a situation or career that does not involve working with people at some level? Pretty much no matter what you plan to do with your college degree, you're likely to be working with people, maybe managing people, maybe working on group projects. Having a better understanding of what makes people tick can only improve your performance in whatever job you're employed. In fact, in this course, I really hope that each of you learns not just the theories and facts of psychology, but that you learn something about yourself and the people in your lives. I tell my students that psychology is the most interesting course there is. Why? Because it's about you. What's more interesting than you? Besides, well, maybe me. Introduction to Psychology is what we call a survey course. What that means is that it can cover the entire range of a very broad field. In this course, we tried to focus on aspects of psychology that we think have the most relevance in people's daily lives in the world today. You'll notice that in this course, not all of the chapters in the textbook are required. And in some chapters, only some of the material has been assigned. That's not because we think it's unimportant, but because we really want you to have a learning experience that focuses on the material we think you might really be able to use someday, whether it's in your personal life or your career. So, let's get started, shall we?